People, how are we? I'm Tom. What next for Francis Ngannou? First and foremost, start with the obvious. There is zero shame in losing to Anthony Joshua, even in the fashion you did, because he's a former two-time champion of the world. That's not an easy feat, and to fight him on your second fight, it was always going to end the way it did. Maybe not that early, but I always foresaw a stoppage happening. I think people that saw it going any other way were just kidding themselves, really. So zero shame in that. And what next? Well, that's quite a good question, because now that the wow factor of the what if, and maybe he could, and he's never been dropped, and he's got that power, now that's kind of gone from Ngannou. I mean, yeah, the what if about the power is still there, but for the most part, the what if of, again, what I've just said, is kind of gone. So you're kind of thinking, what next? Because that's gone. So I think what happens next needs to be well, thought about. He's got three options, one of which just won't happen, I don't think. So he's kind of got two options. I was off into the sunset, made his millions, been an inspiration to everyone, and just retires. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't see that being Francis Ngannou. So there's two options he's got. Does he go back to MMA, UFC with John Jones, or PFL, or some sort of mix? Go back to MMA, or stay in boxing? That's kind of where we're at. But like I say, that what if and the fact that, he's unknockoutable, that's gone now, because clearly he is. So you don't want to throw him in there with someone like way out of his league. I think if he stays in boxing, I can only see two opponents that somewhat make sense. The first one being Deontay Wilder. Both coming off of losses, both with that humongous power, the two hardest hitters in potentially the sport's history. I mean, Mike Tyson might have something to say about that. But neither of them have unbelievable boxing ability. So that kind of fight, I think I'd like to see it. That really would be knockout chaos. Ngannou versus Wilder. And I'd make Ngannou the favourite in that fight, personally. Yeah, I think he goes in there as a favourite for that fight, and I'd love to see it. I think it could be on like an undercard for something. Maybe AJ's next fight. Because I think, again, I said it before and I'll say it again, stylistically, and I'll go into this more in the AJ fight, but Ngannou's just all perfect for AJ. I said that's the very first thing I said about why I think AJ's going to win. Stylistically, as soon as Wilder lost, Ngannou is perfect for AJ. He's the right height, the right reach, the right everything, the right style. And then he's boxing AJ and he switches to southpaw. And I think, what do you think AJ's just fought 24 rounds with arguably the best boxer, certainly across cruiserweight and heavyweight, of our generation. Then he's gone and sparred and fought Otto Wallin, who's also a southpaw. So he's heavily prepared for southpaws. No matter what you do at southpaw, you're not going to compare to the likes of Usyk. So AJ's obviously like, okay, I just fought a southpaw, and before that I fought one twice. So there's nothing you can do here. So he felt really comfortable there. Lands the first knockdown. Ngannou switches back. Cool. I think it was just, again, it was all wrong for Ngannou. I still wouldn't mind seeing him in there. The only other option is Dillian White. Now, I could kind of get an appetite for that, in my opinion. I think you've got Dillian White, who's coming back off of prolonged period out. Still pretty high level. A big drop off, though. Be good for Dillian White. It'd be good for Ngannou. Really kind of see where he's at. They're the only two fights I'd like to see Ngannou with. White, because he's coming back, and like I just said, or Wilder. Other than that, I think you're done with boxing. And also, I think for me, the better of the two is to go back to UFC or PFL, rather, go back to MMA. Whether you go back to MMA in PFL or UFC or whatever it is, I think that's the best option. You were kicking ass over there. You're the champion. I still want to see you fight John Jones. I think for me, that's what would make most sense, and that's what would be best. I'd love to see him fight John Jones. That would be my choice. But I do wonder, has the appetite for that gone now? Has the appetite for John Jones versus Francis Ngannou gone now? Because at the end of the day, that's not happened. Do you know what I mean? And like the Wilder AJ fight, that's gone now. People want to see John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, me included. You know, Ngannou's had so long out of the octagon, so long, and the injuries, and you're just thinking, has the appetite for that gone? I don't know. Let me know. Like, would you want to see it? I'd love to see it personally. I'd love to see him fight Tom Aspinall as well, but here we are. But I do wonder if the appetite's slightly gone for that. And obviously the big factor in the way of that, Ngannou's with PFL. There's no way that Dana White's going to work at PFL unless, you know, Turki Al-Sheikh pulls out his checkbook and pays some hefty moolah to get it on. But I don't see it happening. You let me know your thoughts, though, about what next for Ngannou. I think, yeah, again, for me, top choice, John Jones. Probably not going to happen. I understand why. Politics, all the rest of it. Money. But I'd like to see it. The only thing I'm going to round this off with is people are now, and you know, not everyone, but a lot of people have come out now and have done what they always did. They did the same with Otto Varlin, which is not necessarily diminishing what AJ did, but certainly standing up for the other fighter. You know, Otto Varlin, it was, but he never put AJ in trouble. He never put him in deep water. He never landed. What if? And it's like, well, great, but that didn't happen because of AJ. And you're seeing it again now. What if Ngannou landed? Ngannou was hesitant. Ngannou was twitchy. Ngannou was this. What if he landed? And it's like, but he didn't. And stop taking away from AJ for that and just give him the credit. Do you know what I mean? Again, styles make fights, and stylistically, Ngannou was all wrong for AJ. None of this. Ngannou was having a bad day, and this, that, and the other, and whatever. Like, just stop making excuses for these fighters. And Ngannou's not doing it, by the way. I'm just saying that I've seen a few people making excuses as to why, oh, Fury, and also sticking up for Fury, you know. Oh, Fury clearly had an awful day, an off day. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you now, AJ could, look at that fight back. AJ could have had an off day and still would have clearly won that fight within 6. I'm sorry, he just would have. AJ could have come into that fight undertrained. I don't think he was massively confident anyway. I think he believed in himself, obviously. But you don't fight the man who's just pushed the linear heavyweight champion of the world 10 rounds, arguably beat him, by the way, putting him on the canvas as well. You don't fight him next, and still, you know, relatively unknown about it, overconfident. Do you know what I mean? So, this whole, you know, Fury clear this, that, and the other. You weren't saying that before. Well, you know, maybe Fury did have an off day. A few people were saying that. But you were still giving Francis some props. But now suddenly AJ beats him and it's, oh yeah, well, Fury could have done that. Just stop, you know what I mean? People need to stop doing that. Just look, we are where we are. He took Fury the distance, whatever the reason was, and he couldn't do it for AJ. The styles, I'm not saying you go in there and knock out Fury, AJ. I'm just saying, stylistically, it was all wrong. Stop making excuses for Ngannou and excuses for Fury. Let's finally give him AJ the credit he deserves, which, again, for the most part, is happening. So, I thought it worth mentioning that, but you let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, people. Maybe I've missed a huge name off and you want to see him fight the PFL champion or this, that, and the other, and you want to do you want to see him in boxing still? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, people. You know how YouTube works. Peace.